Hello everyone, this is Counter Yellow, bringing you another video talking about Star Trek Online and the upcoming Age of Discovery expansion. Now today I'm going to be going over Task Force Operations as it was announced today, even though I've relatively covered a lot of this in previous videos. I will cover the little bit that's also included in that, along with some clarifications to mission streamlining and Tier 6 reputation stuff that was announced and then clarified, rectified in the 10-4 weekly video this week on Wednesday. The TLDW will be in the description just like normal, as well as time links to the rest of the things inside of this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is random task force operations, or random TFOs as they're wanting to call them. Like normal, that's what they want to call them instead of queues. They are opt-in, and you can do it for normal or advanced difficulty, not for elite, but normal and advanced you definitely can. There is no cooldown for doing them, and assuming that you succeed in the operation, not only do you get to choose a group of marks for the operation itself, you also get an additional bound to character box, as kind of shown in the Kirtland little picture over to the right, of something random, either from common to epic, depending upon whether you were on normal or advanced, for a choice of marks for any of the reputations or for fleet marks, as well as a set of dilithium ore. Now, what's not included in this is PvP, Shuttle Unlimited events, as well as your 10-person matches, which includes your PvE/VP missions in the competitive, as well as these two 20-person missions, the Big Dig and Breaking the Planet. These two missions were actually the reason why I was initially hopeful for the Task Force Operations, because these two particular ground missions I've never actually had the chance to play inside of Star Trek Online, because these two ground missions only give fleet marks. And I was like, well, most people aren't just going to want to use a queue like this. That's probably decently long and takes a bit of coordination, and it's just worth fleet marks and nothing else. And there's other ones that you can do reliably to get a lot of fleet marks, like Undina Soul Advanced actually gives you a lot of fleet marks for your time if you have a decently coordinated team. I was hoping to be able to have this to be able to play these missions, but that's just not going to be the case now. A little unfortunate. So yeah, the second point is mission streamlining. The basic point of this is going to be to make Star Trek Online welcoming to a lot more Discovery players by helping refine a lot of the plots to make them more coherent and more good. Now the Romulan plot and stuff is extremely well done. The KDF story is good. They mentioned that they're going to be refining a lot of the mechanics in those early missions because they didn't have a lot of tech back then, and they're wanting to refine the missions to bring the mission tech in par with current missions. Even though the story is excellent, I don't think they're going to change that too much. But they did mention specifically inside the stream that they'll be adding more Undine infiltration stuff inside of all the storylines, alongside making the Alachi and Iconium plots a lot more prevalent in the Federation and KDF missions and storyline itself as well. They said they're going to be removing most of the fluff missions from inside the game. Well, inside the mission journal. They still be inside the game, but you have to actually search for them on the individual planets to start the missions themselves. Which also means that Star Trek Online Wiki is going to be your friend. If there's any particular missions that you don't see in the mission journal that you're like, I thought there was a mission about this, you can always go to Star Trek Online Wiki, search for the mission, and there'll probably be stuff popping up there as to how to actually start those missions. So yeah. Also, in addition to that, one thing I've been wanting to work on for a long time is what the canon Star Trek Online story and captains are for those particular stories. At least in a lot of the past missions, there have been very strong hints based upon how different races interact with each other and different genders inside of Star Trek in general, as to what the genders of each specific captain is for each of the factions for the different stories. I already have a general list and have it narrowed down fairly decently good for each one. The Romulan storyline is actually fairly solid at this point. We'll see if that one changes. But yeah, after they make the story canon changes for the Age of Discovery, I will look at my theories again and I'll probably release one a month. I'm going over the different Star Trek Online canon captains inside of the game. But TLDR for this slide lays is that they're trying to make the Discovery stories easier to incorporate into the Star Trek Online experience, and they're also trying to make it easier so that it's a whole lot easier to make Star Trek Online canon to Star Trek. They've hinted at this in a couple of 10-4 weeklies, and basically that's kind of what's going on. Like, you can have a lot of fun non-canon fluff missions, and if you have a couple of like actual stories which you're going to say, yeah, for Star Trek those are going to be canon. That would be super cool to be able to see potentially inside of the future of Star Trek. Just because, you know, a lot of the writing right now is a little bit better on Star Trek Online than Star Trek Discovery. It's a little bit unfair to make that comparison though, because a lot of the writings for like the original series season 1, first couple seasons of Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise were all fairly weak. Voyager was decently weak all the way through it, with a couple of highlights here and there. But yeah, for most of the rest of the series, like it took a couple of seasons for them to get the ground rolling, and for them to actually get good writing to make the series go strong. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of that's going for Star Trek Online as well, going into a lot of this into the future. As for this last point here before I go into my TLDW, here's this reputation clarifications. The biggest one here is this is a cut and paste from the initial post right here at the very top. Whenever they said they were initially releasing Tier 6 reputations, they said that one of the points in it was going to be alternate energy types, and that you could obtain new energy type variants as in plural, i.e. phaser, disruptor, etc., for each weapon. And this is very, very crucial, all this stuff here, because for each set weapon, because what me and a vast majority of people out there who actually started like doing Reddit, those types of things, were like, oh, this is super awesome. That means, like, at least for bare minimum, for each set weapon, you'll be able to use it with any type of energy build that you want. Like, for instance, the Terran Task Force beam array. You'll be able to use that with basically any energy build out there. For me, I was trying my best to be hopeful and saying, well, if this is the case, they might even include proton weapons on here too, and then you can have an actual viable proton build on your ship too, and that would be super exciting. I was actually going to do a single cannon build to have like a 180 arc in the front and be able to still use the proton weapon, the experimental proton weapon from the Dyson reputation. But what they said in 10-4 Weekly on Wednesday was that each of these set weapons will only have one additional energy type, which is unfortunate because that was not what was said here. Because they said it's a new type of variants for each set weapon, and because even the parentheses there implied, if you want to be technical here, implied at least 3. If it didn't imply to all 6, and now they're saying that it's just 1, and they're not going to have any proton weapons included in this. And alongside that, they're not going to make the Dyson proton weapon available for any of the other energy types either. They're really kind of just ignoring proton altogether. The impression I got was that they have no idea what to do with proton weapons, and that's why they didn't add more stuff to it whenever they made the Dyson reputation, because they're like, we want to do this, but we have no idea how to actually do it, so we're just going to do a set and then do nothing with it whatsoever inside the game. But yeah, if you want to go to that 10-4 weekly stream, that link will be in the description. So you can interpret things as you will. This is, of course, just my personal interpretation. They definitely said one energy type only for each set weapon, though. That has zero interpretation behind it. That's definitely how it's going to be. Their defense was that, well, we have to do new visuals for each weapon for a different energy type, so we're only going to do one. I would have been perfectly fine with the same weapon visual and say, guess what? This was initially Disruptor, Terran Task Force Disruptor. Get over it. Just get over it. But, yeah, That's just my personal opinion. TLDW for this video, Task Force Operations has now been kind of officially announced. It's really been announced for weeks now on Side of 10-4 Weekly and other stuff on media for those of you that haven't been watching those closer or haven't been watching my videos. The attendance reward structure has also been released. You can go back to that slide or go to the thing itself to see that itself. Competitive queues as well as the 20 person operations will not be included in the random task force operations. And so yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, but it's just kind of the way it is, I guess. They probably thought that I guess if you had a bunch of random people trying to queue for a big mission, there was enough people randomly going that it would still lag a really long time, and they didn't want to have that happen. Anyway, for mission streamlining itself, they're trying to make the experience easier for new Discovery players that are just starting the game for the first time. And they're trying to revamp a lot of those early missions so that they're able to stick around longer after they've gone through their initial story arc and have come into 2409 from their 2256 time. Then lastly, for Tier 6 reputation, the clarification here that we got from the stream on Wednesday is that set weapons will only give one additional energy type to them, and there will not be any proton weapons added through all of this set weapon stuff of getting additional energy types. So yeah, hopefully that clarifies some stuff for you all. That definitely does kill a lot of what my last Discovery video was, but well, me and a lot of people speculated, and we were completely wrong. A lot of that was just based upon their wording, in my opinion, but that's just kind of the way it is, I guess. Feel free to like and subscribe. Typically, whenever there are when there are Discovery announcements, I do typically do stuff here on the channel about it. Whenever the Discovery show comes on, I'll also give my personal opinions about each episode as those guides go on, and I'll also give I also give general survivability and tanking stuff for this channel as well. So feel free to subscribe if you're interested in those types of things in general. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.